What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Huddle, your weekly playbook helping you gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
Well, we are struggling to keep our heads above water, literally. We just keep getting more and more rain down here in Kansas and floods, and it's like we're trying, but it
it's
is
not the good version of that. It's really
yeah,
not
no,
good.
it is not a light rain. We're getting torrentials, and we'll get 2 or 3 hours of it, and it just floods everything, and the ground's already so
Saturated.
saturated that like there's no place for it to go. So I was looking at the forecast earlier, and it looks like we're gonna get another round tonight with some severe thunderstorms, and we had 101-mile-an-hour winds clocked at
That's
our
like
airport.
that's
That's
just like
just barely
tornado
shy
wind.
of a tornado, dude. Tornado is 135, and we're clocking 101s. That's crazy. Yeah, so we're doing pretty good. Otherwise, it's just, kind of hanging in there. Well, today's topic is how to give back. This is kind of floating some ideas as how we as installers can support our communities. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. But when we're out there, one of the best things you can do is just give to your fellow man or woman and help a family out, help people out that way. So I was going to kick it off with just one of the best ways to help is installing someone who needs flooring, um, and not charging them. I've done that for a few foster families. We were flirting, my wife and I, with the idea of starting a foundation called Flooring for Fosters, where we help foster families with. I mean, foster families, unfortunately, they get when they get a lot of children. I mean, their floors in particular
Yeah.
take a beating. We've installed carpet a couple of times at one of them because it's just so heavy duty. Um, so that's a simple way. Like put your skill to work and maybe do a favor for someone in need. There's a bunch of other ways of doing this. Goes down the right back onto training and doing some training. So I thought I'd kick it off with you guys and throw that first one out there.
Yeah, we've
That I
done something
personally,
similar. Yeah, we've done something similar in the past to where it was an organization and that helps, families in need, and it was, I mean, like 2.5 hours away from us, and we went up there and did it, and he came back and he was like, dude, what do we even charge for this? I said, nothing. Like
yeah.
you go into a house like that and it's like, it's fine, man. Just use that money for something else that they need.
Yeah.
Well, and the blessing you guys give them. I mean, when we do this is putting our skills to work in benefit of someone else and not our money. Uh, the blessing that those people get is so great. I mean, because flooring's expensive, and if one of the we gave them the carpet. It was leftover, so it's not like we had a bunch of cost in it, but we had some remnants, installed it for free, and they got a new carpet, and they thought the world of it, and it's endured. I think they've had up to 8 foster kids in that home before.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's certainly one way. What do you guys think about giving your time to training? I know, give a shout out to Rollin. A lot of his efforts with the CFI's local chapters is just on his. It's not. He ain't getting a paycheck for it.
Yeah. Compensation is not there. Um, I think when the situation presents itself, I don't think it's a hard
I think you
decision.
have to move your microphone a little bit closer to you.
Here, I got a new big old box right here for a microphone, so you guys can hear me better. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when the situation presents itself, you don't really think about it. It's kind of hard to plan for those, right? I guess we're some of those sentimental people where if you plan for it and it's expected, it doesn't really mean as much as it does when you just go out and do it and say, "Have a good day." We've done that quite a bit, actually. I do that a lot. I like helping out my family. I like helping people out. I probably a little too much sometimes, but my time is the most valuable thing I can offer. Doesn't always have to be dollars and cents. My time
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be flooring either.
Well, and your skill. I mean, you got to think about your time plus your skill is like triple time because you took time to learn that skill. And then on top of that, you are giving that time away now. So, helping out in the community, like I encourage everybody, find something you believe in. We've as a company, we've also helped some of the children's homes around here. Um, that when they needed new carpet tile or what have you, and a lot of these places take that on. So that's one way. Um, you know, there's obvious other ways. The good old soup kitchen and volunteering to serve people. Just that those are all easy to get involved with. But I am kind of struck to the amount of people that don't do that stuff, and I know how hard it is because I probably should do even more. I mean, I really don't do near as much as I could because it's difficult to get the time away. But it's worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is difficult to find that time, and it sucks when you're looking at it and you're like, man, I want to do more, but it's like, where is that time going to come from? And we've when it gets slow, we have the guys. We pay them to go and volunteer with Habitat for Humanity and stuff like that, just to. I mean, they need something.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about there's other fun ways to get involved with your community. Both of you guys do coaching, and that is a huge help to the youth. So tell us a bit about that and how you guys got involved with that.
I guess I'll start, but it's just it's a leadership role that kind of gets bestowed upon you, right? Like when I first started in sports, as far as an adult, let me rewind this.
Okay.
When I was a little kid,
Let's rewind.
I had one person in my family who, like, this is like really how it happened. We would start at my cousin's house and we would walk all the way down to the park. And on the way to the park, we would pick kids up. Hey, you want to go play ball? You want to go play ball? You want to go play ball? By the time we made it to the fields, we had 2 full teams.
Wow.
And that's really what we did. And
that's a good old days is what that is.
Yeah, basketball, football, baseball, like whatever. Sometimes it was just going to ride mopeds and crash and almost die, but we still did that. But then I moved into being an adult, and I started coaching and managing my own team. I just thought I was having fun, and next thing you know, like people are coming up to like, hey, how's this look? What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? And then you start analyzing, and that's what led me to a lot of years in softball. But now you fast forward to right now, because I'm retired from ball. Now I'm coaching my son for the first time. I'm not the head coach, just an assistant, right? Just the bench coach. But I still coach fall ball, baseball, and this travel team this year. And somebody needs to teach the boys. It's not always a paid position. My position is not. I'm doing it because I love the sport and I love the kids. So, I love my son, and he's been asking me for years. And to be able to pass something on, it doesn't matter. Like we talk about it in the flooring industry, but to do the children a favor and make them either love the game or understand it from a different point of view is well worth what I'm
Well,
doing.
and you don't have to quite like be as talented as you are in the sport that you're
Yeah, all
coaching.
you got to do is show up
Like
sometimes.
Just show up.
I remember when my son wrestled, um, I ended up coaching just because I was one of the few people that would do it. And
Yeah.
I knew just enough about wrestling to get myself in trouble. I got a lot better as time went on. I wrestled a little bit in middle school, but nothing major in high school or college or anything like that. So other coaches had been, wrestling in college or whatever. I just showed up, got in the corner, helped out, ran some drills, you know. Um, you don't have to like getting involved with your children's sports is a way if you're kind of coaching and not just dropping your kids off, frankly, kind of like I do now. But
There's nothing wrong with
in
that.
the past, I was coaching and running practices and helping with practices and such, and there's nothing that is a form of giving back to your community as well. It doesn't always have to be something super hard like we let out with, which is giving away your skill for free and going and helping people. So I did want to point out that Rollin, he stated that his CF, the chapter that I believe that he's when he says this, that he is in his area has done 7 Building for America homes along with other things. You are always the winner when you're willing to give. So I thought that was pretty spot on. Building for America's bravest. So
Yeah, Rollins number
there's a
one.
lot
man.
of opportunity there with our
that-
veterans and things like that.
Rollins goes above and beyond. I will say the first time I met that guy, I didn't know who he was or what he did. We were on a walk, and we were walking together and talking, and he had just lost one of his vans to a fire, and he was like, people are sending me tools, and then I was like, oh, well, that's pretty awesome. I didn't realize that. I didn't know who I was talking to.
You didn't know you was
everybody
talking
was
to
willing
the
to
plaque
help him out.
master.
Yeah, and it was just like, now I know, and it was like, dang, you know what? He's done so much that like no one even batted an eye. They just, what do you need? I got it. Here you go.
Yeah, there's still a lot of references here coming up in the chat about wounded veterans. So a lot of veterans opportunities there for building homes for the homeless veterans or houseless or unhoused, whatever they call it. Still homeless as far as I know, but the opportunities there. You mentioned Habitat for Humanity. All these things, you're just putting your hand skills to work for you, which is a great way to give back, and I think super valuable. Jorge says they do a couple homes a year for wounded veterans. So, I mean, there you go again.
Right. And then over here, one of the radio stations does everything every year. I don't even remember the name of it. What do they call it over here?
Oh, you talking about the break-in?
Yeah, they do a holiday break-in, and a bunch of people nominate families in need, and then they take them out of their house to
Yeah, where
go like
they call
shopping
for
and stuff.
bail or something. Is
Yeah,
that the thing?
they take them Christmas shopping, and then
I
they
forgot
break
about
in
that.
and pretty much bring Christmas to them, and then can do some house improvements like real quick while they're out too.
Actually, we actually helped Wags, a buddy of mine. He had one of them homes, and we went to go help and do the flooring portion of it. And I remember it was supposed to be a big surprise, but because they had kids and dogs, and like the logistics was just not going to be a surprise, so we just kind of had to. We got to do your floors, guys. We made it work.
Nice. Yeah, there's a there's also a lot to be said, I think, about doing um, work with the local chapter of the chamber. Sorry, I was trying to think of the name. It had slipped me for a second. But the chamber, it's a business community, but it's not like you get paid to go give your time or talk or whatever. So you can get involved in you guys do that a lot.
Yeah.
I just
He
did
just
it
did it today.
Yeah, and you're right. We actually pay them, and then we go there and volunteer and do all that. Yeah, it's one of the give and take, right? You do have a membership, and you have your dues, but you get so much more out of it. It's not about making the dollars from there. It's about making the connections and helping your local economy. That's what that's about. Today I got to meet a congressman and actually have a conversation with. It was fairly intimate. There was only about 20 people in the room, and we talked about a couple political items and some things that are underway with the government, and hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, I mean, you can also serve on different committees and stuff through the chamber. So there's multiple different ways you can give, as we were talking, give back as an installer, but getting involved. The one thing is a lot of times I know how it is. You'll get out there, get installed, and the last thing you want to do is go donate some time that afternoon. So finding the time, as Daniel mentioned earlier, is more about like scheduling time in your bulk of your day. Doing it after hours for me is really tough because I give my job everything I got, and I try to run this company and do my very, very best, and I give it everything I got every day. By 6 or 7 at night, I am toast, baby. So a lot of those things you want to try to just a little bit of tweaking here, try to get it within your workday. And if you're a sub, you have the ability to kind of have that freedom to do so. So scheduling yourself to do some of those activities during your normal workday can help with that. Jorge says, I've also personally donated to friends that have family members that are going through struggles, especially two friends that were with a terminal cancer bedridden. We donate all the supplies and labor. Anything helps. I also want to give a shout out to CFI. One year, one of my installers, my helper, actually, one year his son died, very tragically, very out of the blue, and he was only like 19 or 20 years old, young kid, and the CFI guys like pulled together money, and I know that they give there's some giving there, and ended up getting him a little over $1,000. I think it was like $1,200 to help him in his time of need. So even giving back is time or money. Sometimes it's time and money. Roland says giving your time costs you nothing. I would probably disagree with that. I look at things a little bit different.
Yeah,
I feel like
a little bit.
There's if I'm giving my time during the day, I could be earning. If I'm giving my time in the evening, I could be with my family, or putting in some extra hours at the office. There's a cost to your time, and but I do understand what you're saying. It doesn't cost you money out of your pocket. So giving of your skill, though, is a huge, I think that's more powerful than money in a lot of ways. If you give somebody $1,000 to go get flooring, or you go install that flooring for them, it's going to go a lot further with you installing the flooring for them than that $1,000, because we're not cheap. Flooring install and flooring isn't cheap. So if somebody comes to me with $1,000 to get some floors installed, you're not getting a hell of a lot. So you can install, whatever they have, if you're giving away your time. So,
Yep.
and somebody stated
time.
do some flooring for tornado affected areas. I think that was.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go help you out pretty soon here.
dude, if tonight doesn't calm itself down around the Kansas Plains, we might need you over here, Jose.
So Jimmy says, giving your time costs you the most, but we rise by lifting others up. And I think that's where a lot of people look at CFI as in like just looking at or training entities in general is, someone commented a few weeks back, that all they're doing is looking for a money grab, but that's not the case because a lot of us guys that are doing it have spent more than we've actually made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I will agree with that. And it's, not only CFI, but it's like Daniel, the amount of time and articles that Daniel has spent writing for magazines, right? Like that's and same thing for me. That's not our own time. That's us trying to give
Yeah,
back.
you're not getting paid as a author. I've
Right.
written a handful of articles for the
Yeah.
publication myself, and you're not. It's not like they're paying us to do those. It's on your own time, and so yeah, I couldn't disagree more with that comment from a couple. It was either last week or the week before about it being a money grab. I mean, it's absolutely insane to me to have that thought process. It, of course, people care about entities care about you being connected to them and being a member. I mean, that's that's how all of us. We're members of something. I'm a member of Fuse. I'm a member of certain organizations because, and they make money off of me because of what they do for me and the benefit, and plus the camaraderie and the stuff. And I think CFI has that same element, and it's not, I think it's irresponsible to say it's cash grab. That's for sure. Not only
Yeah.
irresponsible, completely incorrect. And while we're on the topic of CFI, I know a lot of you guys have probably heard or seen through the publications that Ralph is no longer at CFI. He was the leading the organization. We are going to have an exclusive interview with some of the board members of CFI at on this podcast in 2 weeks. So not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. It's July 1st. We're going to have three of the executive team here on the podcast, live, just like we are every week, live Q&A. So if you have questions about what's going on, you
Start
have
writing them
questions
down.
about anything that you want to get the answer straight from the horse's mouth, it'll be right there. And so, yeah, if you have concerns or questions or wondering what, you know, the future holds for CFI, how things are going currently. If you want to, get and connect with CFI, it's a great way to get to know a little bit and come with your questions. So that will be again on July 1st, and I would encourage you. We're going to get started a little early on that day, and we're also going to run until the questions are done. So if you
Gotta come with the hard stuff, and I put on there on the scrolling text right there that if you want to get your questions ahead of time to email us, or if you want to stay anonymous, right? Not everyone wants people to know. So just email us at forwardprogress@thehuddle.team, and we'll get your questions to who they need to go to.
Yeah, so it'll be somewhat like our normal podcast from the stance that we're going to still be there. We'll still be kind of guiding the conversation as far as like keeping the conversation going. We'll have some of our own thoughts and stuff that we'll add in on that. So I would encourage you to show up to that, and I'd also state that CFI is one of the most important organizations in our industry, and so the health of CFI, if you care about that, you should show up and ask some questions. So,
Right. And I don't think if you're not in it, you don't realize that a lot of the people that are in the organization are also part of other organizations like ASTM, stuff like that, and they're helping write the
write the rule book on
basically, yeah.
install. Yeah. So if you're curious about it, even I'm sure the executive team would be happy to answer any questions if you're curious about what CFI offers and can how it can help you elevate your career. So hopefully we'll be able to get down into some of the details of the future and how we all band together and move forward. So as we're continuing to talk about giving back, we for my experience and how I've given back, um, I've reached the limit of my uh, uncliche knowledge. So I can tell you go to soup kitchens and donate your time, and go to the homeless shelters and donate your time, and that's all important. But going into the training, I also want you to think about how helping a young man get into this industry, and which I've done several times, is a form of helping your community. When you're patient with your new guy, your helper, your green guy, whatever you want to call him, your apprentice, you're patient and you're thoughtful and you're teaching. You have a teaching mindset with them. Um, Full disclosure, I was not always very good at that. I wanted to get stuff done. I wanted to, but I'm telling you, it's better to not be that way. Like teaching them and looking as an investment in them. Now, I've read a lot of the Facebook posts and stuff about how terrible experiences people have had with new help, and they just want to do it on their own because they can't rely on people. Welcome to the world of business, man. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you want to own, if you don't want those headaches, go work for somebody by the hour and
You
quit
got it.
complaining all the time about it. Like, you've
I
got to
mean,
get
if you're
at
not
hiring.
hiring someone else anyways, you're kind of just paying yourself by the hour to work for yourself anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want the headaches and the stress that comes along with that, like I said, I'm not trying to be rude, but go get an hourly job, or go be an employee installer somewhere, because you don't have to worry about that. So at the end of the day, when you are when you're your own company,
You're right.
you've got to I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Every time we
these,
do,
these dudes got
we chat
these
right
dudes
when we're on here, and like I'm like, hey, turn your gain down a little bit because I can hear myself, and then we all I try to do it so Paul doesn't look, but he looks every time, and
well,
he's like that dog, right? Squirrel.
Yeah. Oh, there's words. There's words. I
I
have to read
am.
them.
I can't help but read them, and then
Yeah.
it's funny.
FOMO.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I'm sorry. We're still trying to adjust my mic. I got this new shell, and like,
we're getting
I don't
there.
know why it's getting louder. Like when he's talking, it was good when we started.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there, my friends. Um, but anyway, so when we're taking the time to mentor somebody, we had a podcast about that a few weeks ago. I think that plays into giving back to your community and in a long run way. I mean, you're improving someone else's life, and like I said, I know the Facebook negative stuff, but again, I say to you guys, go get a job somewhere if you are going to complain about the hiring struggles. That's part of being a business owner, and we all have them. Nobody has it easier than another person. You got to build systems and things around it, and hire right, and try to hire the best people you can. And we all have the same problem. So, what has given me the most satisfaction is being there for a person going through tough time in their life. Be it just an ear to listen or a shoulder to cry on. That's where my costing you nothing comes from. Good point, Roland.
Yep.
Good point.
Yeah. So I always
Fair
bring up
enough, sir.
I always bring up Simon Sinek, right? And he has a thing where he's like, 8 minutes. All it takes is you listening or talking to someone for 8 minutes for them to start feeling better, right? So he came up with a thing where with him and his friends, it's like, hey, do you got 8 minutes? Because sometimes someone will text you and be like, what's going on or what you doing this weekend? And that's them reaching out without wanting to say, hey, I need someone to talk to. So it's just saying, go to text someone and be like, hey, man, you got 8 minutes?
I gotta get my buddy to listen to this. I got a friend that lives around you guys up in Michigan that I talk to a lot. And when I say I talk to a lot, I talk to uh, not super frequently, but when we talk, man, it is going in. So it's like if he could do an 8 minute deal, we'd be on the phone more often.
I I
It is a
think
commitment.
I think there's those people though that you're like, if you get a phone call or something and you're like they want to talk, you're like, I gotta clear out my schedule if I'm gonna answer this.
Yeah, I've got to have some time. He's a great man. I love him. Love you, buddy. You know who, if you're watching this. um, so yeah, you're right, Roland. I mean, you can definitely help out without it costing you, because I don't know that we're clocking in when we're listening to somebody and helping them through a tough time and yeah. So be there for one another. We've talked about the mentorship. A lot of the stuff that we cover in this podcast, like it all intertwines. You know what I mean?
It sure
Like the
does.
mentorship and what I just mentioned about how you're actually helping your community and helping out other people when you're being a patient mentor to somebody and teaching them the ropes of the business. But
Yeah, we just talked about mentorship, a few weeks ago, and I didn't even mention like my wife works for Fifth Third, and she's starting to be a mentor here soon too because she's in a higher up leadership position over there now. And I mean, it's the corporate. If corporate's doing it, that means it has to work somehow, right? Everyone hates corporate, but they do have systems in place, just like we say, no one likes the union, but they got those systems in place for a reason.
That's what we
yeah,
got to do. We don't call it training anymore. We call it mentorship. Changes mindset.
yeah, there's there's a lot to be said for that. Not to, I I think that's more of what it is, and a lot of the training entities take it to that level, right? You're not just learning the floor install side. A lot of times you're being taught the business side, the soft skills side about how to deal with customers successfully and that kind of stuff. So it all plays together, and I know this is a uh, not a flooring specific topic here for the huddle, but not all of our topics are. We've done mental health issues in the past, and I think we are going to have one coming up here in the near future again. I mean,
It is men's mental health month right now, so
Right
I'm
now.
yeah, so there you go. We should see if we can fit in. I don't know what our podcast schedule is from the topic side. I know it's getting pretty swamped in again. July 1st, live Q&A, open mic with CFI. So make sure you're there, uh, July 1st. So, um, but yeah, like all of this mental health. I think it's great that they have a men's mental health month, or maybe we don't need a month. I don't know, but focusing on the struggles of a guy, because there's been such a over the last decade, it seems like more guys have struggled with this than I can ever remember, and I think a lot of it has to do with self-worth, and a lot of people, not to like uh, you know kind of tie this all in on purpose, but when you give something to someone else, it does make you feel better. Whether you're giving your time, money, effort, whatever it is, you pour into other people, and you'll see. And that's a lot of that can help you a lot if you're struggling yourself, is
Unless
by
you
pouring
unless
into
you
other
give
people.
unless you give something to your kids and they break it, then you're like
Then you're like, I'm not getting you nothing else.
nothing anymore.
You're not even getting a Christmas present.
So my nephew did it. He broke one of his Christmas presents one year. I got him a little metal detector, and I said, "If you break this, all you're getting is books until you're an adult." And he said, "All right." And then the very next time I went to his house, I seen it in the tree.
Not only did he break it, he retired it.
Yeah, so he did, and I did get him books the rest of the time, and now he loves reading. So you're welcome.
Yeah, community service at its best right there.
And
All
that's
right,
why
what else do
giving
you guys
back.
think?
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
that's why giving back with like coaching and stuff like that has been beneficial for me because I do see the kids where I will be that coach to be the a-hole and be mean to the kids, right? Because someone has to. And then from the start of the year to the end of the year, it's like a completely different person. It's, telling me I'm not going to do no push-ups to coming up to me, hey, coach, how many push-ups you want me to do? And now I see them today and they're like a completely different person. So just pushing them.
Mm-hmm.
Think
Yeah, I
about
was
your
going to ask the
limits.
question, how do you guys think that giving back affects the giver? Like, I touched on it just a bit, but giving back or like doing community or whether it's community service or helping, how do you think that feels for the person giving? How do you guys feel when you do that?
Well, so I'll just jump in real quick. It's you don't really notice like for me, I don't notice when I'm giving. I don't notice anything until that person has the aha moment or they find some success. When they find a little bit of success or a little bit of happiness off of no matter what you're doing, that's when you feel like
Yeah.
it just made their day, just made even it don't it made their minute. I don't care. It just right that little bit of success out of all that failure, out of all the turmoil, out of all whatever it is, whether it's work, coaching, it don't matter, or the thank you at the end, right? Like the one
Hmm.
where they look into your soul and you're looking right back into theirs, and they're just like,
Thanks, brother.
thanks.
Yeah.
That's how I look at my son's coaches, like in baseball right now. And I talked to some of the parents the other day, and it's like our kids wouldn't be the people who they are right now if we didn't have the coaches we do.
Yeah, one of my son's coaches, I ended up being really, really good friends with, and you never know the friendships you're gonna gain through that. And I get to give a shout out to another coach that really, and he's the one who I'd be sitting in the stands. He'd just come grab me and say, "Hey, come help me coach over here," and kind of got me acclimated to it, to where I felt good about it. So I mean, him helping me led to me helping other people, and yeah, it definitely waterfalls.
Yeah,
He
I
helped you.
think
You
that's
didn't
what
even
it's
know it.
supposed to do.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, um, you can't just beat a topic to death.
No,
Sometimes you reach the end, and I feel like um, maybe we've done that here is clearly identify that giving back as you've been given to, and if you've done it yourself, then you know what it, without any help, then you know what that's like. So you can help someone else from any perspective, whether you had a mentor that really helped you or you had somebody give you a helping hand and you remember it and that's why you want to do it, or you never had it, that's another good reason to do it. So in either perspective, consider how you can give back to your local community. One of the best at this, as far as like installers I know, is John Steyer. I mean, the guy
Oh my
just
goodness.
gives
Yep.
tirelessly in
I
that.
don't even think he works at all. I think he just gives back 100% of the time now, and that's what it seems like. He's always
Kudos to
doing
that brother.
something.
He's always doing something, and I want to give him a shout out because I know he does a lot. I know a lot of the guys in the different training organizations do that, and again, it's inspiring from John's. When I see John, I mean, he's doing something when you get a text to voice message from him, and you're like, John's on the road somewhere going to help somebody do some training or something. So shout out to him. Yeah, just give your time and try to help out your community, help out other installers. And to do that, the first step is getting involved in whatever that is in your local
Right.
community, or getting involved on a national level with some of the training entities, get involved with the huddle, get involved with, any of
Your
the entities
your
out there.
local organizations, I mean, there's a plethora of things that you can get involved in. And then one of the biggest things is just changing your mindset on stuff too, right? Because a lot of the guys are like you said, you've never done it, so you have to have someone pull you in. And then it's changing that mindset, just like you said earlier, Some guys don't want to hire someone because they'll never be as good as them. But then that's where doing things like this, you start looking at yourself as a coach, even with the people that you're working with.
Yep.
And then when you look at yourself as a coach instead of a boss, that's when you're like, okay, you go do this. And then you're not involved in it. You shouldn't be the one that's right there on their back. It's go do this.
Right.
All right, you didn't do it right. Let's fix something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've all seen that meme where the boss is doing this in one picture, and the next one he's
Yeah.
like doing the thing and like showing. I think that's what we should, remember and strive to be. So, yeah, Kevin says, build my future, which is another great way to give back to your community and the flooring industry, which is really I think that's been going on for, I don't know, somebody correct me, but close to a decade. It could be even longer for all I know, but that would be a great way, and you can find information out on that through CFI. You can get with any of those guys. I know that AFT does some of that stuff as
Yep.
well.
And
Robert Barton over there does some, and
start off small. Just go to your local elementary school and get with the counselor, or a high school and do a career day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, Habitat for Humanity, that they're always doing something. You can go just do a
They
day's
always
worth
need
of
help.
labor for them. You get a day off, or a job gets pushed, go reach out to your local Habitat and get to know them. That way, when you have that little dead time, you can go give your time for your community. And I think it's a great way to show support. We all live here. Let's do a great job doing it.
Here's another idea. I know you're trying to end it, but for those out there who struggle with addiction, you can volunteer at some of those places too, and maybe you have a story to tell that can resonate with someone to help them out of a situation. Who knows?
Right. I just keep
Yeah.
track of the people on, some of these groups that we know in the installer community that have overcome addiction, and they're very proud of it. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. You should be proud of that, man. It's something that you were doing and you had the power to stop. That's huge.
Amen. Yep, for sure. Yeah, addiction is another great plague, I think, of our society, as well as, our industry in particular has its struggles with it. And so heart goes out to everybody that struggles with that, and hope you can find help. And those of you who have the ability to help, I hope you will.
Yeah.
With that, we're done because it's going to get emotional, and we're all.
Well, it's been a good podcast. I kind of anticipated it not being a super long one. I mean, you can only talk about these different things, but really what it takes is just get creative, get involved in a local manner. You guys have done a great job with that. We do that locally, and then you can build up to national stuff. And we always encourage people to get to CFI convention and the FCICA stuff, and even surfaces and the shows out there, because you'll get involved in the community if you want to.
Yeah, and a lot of what we do is focused on the youth, and we love that, right? We just got our plaques today from the local Little League to add to our wall. But when we were in the Memorial Day parade, there was a kid, and he looked at the van and he started pointing. That's my team. That's my team. And that's the kind of
That's
stuff
cool.
that you love.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so
All
everybody says,
right,
get off the
fellas.
floor,
Well,
go do some more.
thanks for your time today. Again, don't forget July 1st, we're going to have live open mic CFI, so be there, be square. I want to thank all the comments and everybody getting involved. And sometimes it's a little bit more of a humanity podcast here and there, and that's what today was. Is we're all human. Let's give back, find ways to get involved.
Yeah, and
With
make sure
that,
you give us a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And
yeah, make sure to give us a follow on our social
The papers
platforms.
are cool.
And like Daniel just said, like or
yeah,
subscribe on
and
that YouTube channel.
and don't forget to go to Shag Tools and use the code Huddle10 for 10% off.
Boom.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. Till next
We'll see
week.
ya.
Thank you,
See ya.
everyone.